Hello everybody, this is Ron again and welcome to this week's lesson, and we're talking about locating prospects. This is the second episode in that. If you did not catch last week's episode, then go back and get it, because we talked about calling for sale by owner ads online and in the paper, and that's a very important way to buy houses. Now this week we're going to talk about the most amazing discovery in real estate in my entire 30 years of being in it when it comes to getting sellers to contact you, and that is the magic yellow letter. So this one's all about the yellow letter, and I'm going to go over the key points of the yellow letter, but I will tell you, here's what one looks like. This is an actual one that we're getting ready to send out here in the office, and there's nothing that I've ever found in all of my years that works better than this thing. Now there's an upside and there's a downside to it, so I'll cover both for you. But this yellow letter gets put in the mail to people who own homes. We get to pick our different types of list owners, we get to pick different types of list of homeowners, but it only goes to homeowners. I'm going to read you the yellow letter, and I'll let Lauren zoom in on it. You back there, Lauren?
I'm back here.
Okay, that's our damn reporter back there behind the camera today. And Lauren, can you zoom in on this?
Yes.
Let's see how complicated this is. Here, I'll zoom in for you. There you go. There it is, folks. Now, can anybody tell me, raise your hand if you're watching, can you tell me why they call this the yellow letter? I'm guessing because it's yellow myself. See the red ink on it? Okay. We found that red ink does pull a little better. Frankly, I don't have any evidence of that personally, but why not just use red since it's working? Okay. The yellow letter looks like a notebook pad. A printer prints it. This is not torn off a notebook pad, yet it does look like it. It's got lines on it and the whole works. So a printer prints this red ink on this paper with the exception of the address that's right here in the middle. So let me read the letter to you. It says, "Hi, my name is Ron Grant, my wife is Beverly, and we'd like to buy your house at," and then the address of the house. "Please call me at," and then the phone number. Ron. That's the letter. That's all it says. And it just works. This letter will pull a minimum of 10% response to a maximum of 30% response to the people you mail it to. That is nothing short of amazing. That's not good. That's amazing. Because there's no other direct mail piece that I've ever seen that'll come close to that. Why does it pull? Let me tell you why. There's actually 3 reasons. Number 1, first problem of direct mail, getting envelope opened. Well, look at this envelope. Back here's on my list here. Envelope is hand addressed with a live stamp with your return address on the flap, and the flap is not sealed. The flap is stuffed like that. So it's a personal letter. No one, and I mean no one, will get this letter in the mail and not open it. Ergo, you just fixed the number 1 big problem of direct mail, getting the letter open. And then I just read you the letter. Can you imagine yourself throwing this letter in the trash without reading it first? Well, neither will anybody else. So we just fixed the second biggest problem of direct mail, and that's getting the letter read. And then thirdly, it looks like I rode by their house, I like their house, and they're the only, as far as they're concerned, they're the only one that I'm mailing this letter to, so they're just compelled to call. Now, downside, 90% of the people who call on this letter don't even have a house for sale. They're just calling to be courteous or find out what's up. So I'm going to tell you right now, you do not want to take these inbound calls. Under no circumstances do you take them personally. So let's go down my list. Number 1, invitation size envelope. That's this one right here. Okay. Number 2, it must be hand addressed. No, I don't expect you to do it. I don't expect you to lay a finger on this letter. In fact, I'm going to caution you heavily to make sure that you don't lay a finger on this letter. We've got a company that does all that for you. Number 3, live stamp. No indicia. Must be a live stamp. Must look like it came from Grandma. And does this letter look like it came to Grandma for you? All right. Number 3, the address must be on the inside of the letter. If you leave the address out, your response is going to plummet. I want the house in question that you're trying to buy, which you're going to get off of the mailing list that you ordered to send this to. And then I want the return address on the flap. Now I will tell you that if you don't put the return address on the flap, it won't kill your response, but it's going to probably be better if the return address is on the flap. Now fortunately, if you want to have your printer print these envelopes for you, he can print that return address on your flap and make it look like it's hand addressed, but nobody can print this on the front. Now they have computer programs that come close, but I tell you, if you let somebody do it for you, like I'm going to advise you to do, it's irrelevant to you anyway. Okay, and the list is the key. So who do you mail this to? Well, I got a list of lists. In some states, I would mail it to people that are in foreclosure. I mean, they've been filed on. See, I can't do that in Florida anymore. It used to be my favorite list, but in Florida they passed a law that the only way I can buy a house from somebody that's behind on their payments is to pay cash for it, and that just took all the wind out of my sail on that one. So I would, you know, it's not a list that I target, because my favorite prospect, and I'm trying to attract, is somebody that I can take over the debt. Well, if they've been filed on in Florida and they live in a house, I can't take over their debt anymore. So I can still rent that list and mail to it, but we're mailing to other types of lists. In fact, I think we're mailing to people that are out of town. And in a minute, I'm going to tell you where to go to get these lists selected for you, and let somebody that's a professional in this industry. In fact, I'm going to send you to the creator of the yellow letter here and let them help you select the list. But the list is key. And if your list is not working, you just change the list. Don't change the letter. All right, next, here's the biggie. When you mail this letter, you're going to put a phone number in it. For crying out loud, please don't make it your phone number. These will drive you nuts. The last thing you want to do is mail a couple of hundred of these and take the inbound calls. I mean, some of these people are going to be upset at you just because you mailed them a letter. I mean, I've even had students where they call the police, and the police call the student to find out what's up. When the police find out, they just put a letter in the mail. They're done. But some people just don't understand it, and so they're going to wonder what's up. And you got to be able to live with that, or don't mail yellow letters. It's just that simple. This is the best technique I've ever found, but it does come with that downside. You're going to get an occasional caller who's just having a miserable time in their life, and they want to take it out on you. That's why I don't want them calling you. I use PatLive. PatLive.com/Ron LeGrand. If you go to PatLive, you can set up an account. It costs you $80 a month. They'll take all the inbound calls for you 24 hours a day. And all you need to do is get them to find out if they have a house for sale and their contact information. That's all PatLive needs to do. And then you have got to have somebody call every single person back with a house for sale. Guys, don't put these in the mail if you're not going to call the people back that have a house for sale. You're wasting your money. And these do cost money to mail. So if you're going to call them back yourself, or you're going to have somebody else call them back, then who do you call back? Well, the people with a house for sale. You're only going to get, on the average, and this is just a thumbnail sketch, about 5% of the people you mail to are going to have a house for sale. Not the 30% or 20% that's going to call you. Only about 5% are going to have a house for sale. So if I put 200 of these in the mail, and I get 10 people calling me with a house for sale, and I get one deal out of it, and these things cost me $1.50 to mail, then I paid $300 for a deal. It's that simple. If I put 400 of these in the mail, and I only get one deal, then I paid $600 for a deal. Would you pay $300, $600, $900, $1,200 for a deal that made you $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in a few days? If the answer is yes, you mail these. If the cost of mailing these means more to you than the potential profit, then there's other ways you can find deals without putting these in the mail. Me, we put them in the mail every single week. Every single week. All right, and also, if you want this all done for you, just go to yellowletter.com. That's yellowletter, singular.com, and let John and Donna McDeal do this for you. John and Donna invented the yellow letter while they were working right here in this building for me buying houses. That was several years ago, and now they work with hundreds of students, and they mail these United States and Canada. They know what list to pick. They know how to get it done correctly. They know what the results are going to be to a degree, and there's nobody better qualified on the planet. So go to yellowletter.com and pay whatever they want you to pay, because if you don't put them in the mail, it's going to cost you a lot of money in lost deals. If you put them in the mail and you follow up on the deals, it's irrelevant what you pay John and Donna. And guys, it all comes down to autopilot. If you're going to create a system of buying and selling houses and get yourself out of the minutia, you've got to get it on autopilot. And you're never going to get this on autopilot as long as you or somebody working close to you is involved in the process of getting these in the mail. I know that's easy to say, and I know a lot of people just fight me on that. What they want to do is they want to save pennies on this, and they lose sight of the thousands of dollars they're losing because of the deals they're not getting. If these don't get in the mail, nobody's going to call you. If they get in the mail and you follow up on the calls, don't matter what they cost to put in the mail. I have students mailing anywhere from 100 to 1,000 of these a week. Now, do not mail 1,000 of these letters until you know what the response is going to be, until you're following up on the back end and you're prepared to turn those into cash flow. Okay? Now most of these calls are going to be worthless. So as I close, let me say this again. Almost every call I get from this yellow letter is going to be a waste of my time and your time. I'm only looking for the few that creep through. If I get one deal a week or even one a month, could you live with one deal a month that made you a minimum of $30,000? If so, I'm telling you, there's no better way to find it than this right here. So that's it for now. I hope that was a good lesson for you. See you next week.